Hello, people. How's it going? Oh, the screen doesn't look too bad. Anyway, this is In Harm's Way. I like this film. It's not like it's a masterpiece, but I do like this movie. The setting of the film is in the entry of the United States in World War II. It depicts the lives of several U.S. naval officers based in Hawaii, their wives or lovers. The title of the film comes from a quote from an American Revolutionary Naval Commander, John Paul Jones. I wish I have no connection with any ship that does not sail fast, for I intend to go in harm's way. The film presents a relatively unromantic picture of the U.S. Navy, and it does. It's a very good film in that. I will give it that. It is a good movie. It is a good representation of the U.S. Navy. It's a good movie. It's not perfect. And its officers from the night of December 6, 1941. That's where it starts. Through the first year of the USS participation in World War I, too. Complete with bureaucratic quarreling among the senior officers, and sometimes disreputable private actions by individuals. Oh yeah. It's sprawling there in his typical Otto Preminger's work. He was the director, of course, which examines institutions and people who run them, such as the United States Congress and the Presidency of the United States, in advising consent, the Catholic Church, and the Cardinal, and the British Intelligence Service and Human Factor. This is a good film. This is a very good movie. I do like this film. The cast, of course, is John Wayne, yay, the Duke, playing Captain, later Rear Admiral Rockwell Torrey, Kirk Douglas as Commander Paul Emmington, Patricia O'Neill as Lieutenant Maggie Haynes. Name how many people in this film either won an Academy Award or were nominated. So far, I've named 3 of them. Tom Lyons, who plays Mac McConnell, Paula Prentice, who plays his wife. And at this point, by the way, in her life, she was married to Richard Benjamin already, which is kind of cool. They're still married. I mean, they got married at 61, I believe. And they're still married. They're still alive, of course. Brandon D. Wilde is the son of Jeremiah Torrey. You may know him as the kid from Shane. And sadly, if I remember correctly, he dies sometime after this film. Some sort of tragic accident. Let's see. Dana Andrews is Vice Admiral P.T. Flatcap Frederick, a made-up character. I will let you know when I get to the people who actually existed. But they do have actually a few characters playing actual people. Well, you know what I mean. Based on actual people. Burgess Meredith is one of them. Burgess Meredith was the commander. Egan T. Powell, USNR. Powell was based on Commander. Later Admiral Gene. Okay, I messed all that up. He basically was the intelligence officer. He was the one who was trying to figure out how to invade, where to invade, how to have logistics, all kinds of cool stuff. Actually, Burgess Meredith has always been one of those actors I do like. Burgess Meredith. He is very good in this film. But his character is actually based on Gene Markey. Gene Markey, Eugene Wilford Gene Markey, was an American writer, producer, screenwriter, highly decorated naval officer. He wasn't killed, well, spoiler alert, but he wasn't killed as he was in the movie. Neither was the other guy. But I'll get there. Yes. The Coast Watcher, the Australian Coast Watcher, pretty good. He's a cool character. He's maybe a little stereotypical, but he didn't actually exist. The Coast Watching existed, so he's probably just based on everybody. Let's see. We do have. Well, if you know who Kimmel is, who Husband E. Kimmel is, he's the admiral who was in charge of Pearl Harbor. He's the one that got blamed for Pearl Harbor. If you've seen the movie Tora, he's the same character that Martin Balsam is playing in that movie. Tora is an excellent film. Patricia Patrick O'Neill, another made-up character. Carol O'Connor, who I think doesn't get enough credit for the movies he's made. He was a good actor. He's good in this film. He plays an actual person. Arleigh Burke, that's who he plays. Later Captain Arleigh Burke. Arleigh Burke was an admiral of the United States Navy who distinguished himself during World War II and the Korean War, and who served as chief of naval operations during the Eisenhower and Kennedy administration. And he also doesn't die as he does in the movie. I'm probably spoiler alerts, but you know what I mean. I mean, there are other actors in here too that you really recognize. You know, Slim Pickens is in this. George Kennedy is in this. Larry Hagman is in this. Henry Fonda, who plays Chester Nimitz, who also plays Chester Nimitz in that not very good Midway movie with Charlton Heston, also plays Admiral Nimitz. Anyway, I like this film, as I keep saying. It's a very good movie of representing in the first early year of World War II, once the United States got into it. And it took me a while to figure out when this was all happening. And I finally figured it out, because I was finally listening properly this time. They mentioned the Solomon campaign. This is probably before Guadalcanal. This is certainly the beginning of Eisenhower. MacArthur's island hopping campaign, where he started in the Solomons. This is what this book is. This book is part of the Solomon Island campaign. This is part of the island campaign. What I finally figured out is this movie. I'm going to read something first. Silent. Let's see. The Solomon Island campaign was a major campaign in the Pacific War of World War II. The campaign began with Japanese landing and capture of several areas in the British Solomon Islands and Bougainville on the territory of New Guinea. During the first 6 months of 1942, the Japanese occupied these locations and began the construction of several naval and air bases with the goals of protecting the flank of the Japanese offensive in New Guinea, establishing a security barrier for the major Japanese battle base of Rabaul and New Britain. Basically, this movie takes place, I'm pretty sure, after the Battle of Midway, after the Battle of Coral Sea. See, this film, there's one thing about this movie that I kind of wish that Otto Preminger had done a better job at, was letting me know when it's happening. Because I'm getting the impression, by what little I'm gleaning out of this film, it's before Guadalcanal. I don't think it's before the Battle of Coral Sea. I think it might be. All I can do, I'm going by a hunch, because he mentions the Solomon Island campaign by MacArthur. This was going to start, but kind of chronology is kind of odd. I've seen this movie at least 5 times, and I still can't quite figure out where it takes place once they get to that part of the movie. And there's some good scenes. I mean, I think you don't see land fighting scenes. The problem is, it has screen effects. The naval battles in this film are very good. That I will say makes this film worth watching. They are good. They are done very well. It is a very well done movie. It is a well acted movie. John Wayne is very good. Kirk Douglas is very good. You're not going to like his character, but he does a good job. Carol O'Connor does a pretty good job. Well, he's Henry Fonda playing Admiral Nimitz. I think the only lacking film is the Marines that show up. You don't really get a sense that they were doing any fighting. You hear about it. You hear about the victory. You hear about the island they take, but you don't see it. This film really is about the Navy. Though I'm kind of wondering, would an admiral actually be leading ground forces? I kind of wonder about that part, because he does in the beginning. Once he's made vice admiral, he doesn't have full admiral yet. Once he's made vice admiral, I mean, is that normal? Please, can someone tell me who will know better whether an admiral would actually be in charge of ground forces? That seems odd to me. But if you really want to know a lot about the island campaign, well, I should have brought the book up. Right? This one? All right, I'm getting up. Hang on a second. This book This is the Solomon Island campaign. But let's see. U.S. Marines seize Guadalcanal at a high cost in 1943. This movie is basically that movie is basically pretty much the first year. Within the first, it starts the day before Pearl Harbor, and I'm fairly certain that it ends. See, the problem with this film that I don't like, it really doesn't give me an idea where they are. Yeah, they name islands. That's fine. The acting is well. The battles are good. I have a hard time figuring out where they are exactly. This has got to be before Guadalcanal, I think. That's one thing about some of these movies is I spend a lot of time trying to figure out where in relation to the Coral Sea and where is in relation to Guadalcanal, and it's like I'm gonna read it anyway. Producer director Otto Preminger's epic treatment of the bombing of Pearl Harbor details a devastating attack on the Hawaiian naval base as well as explosive. It's not a bad scene. I mean, it's not Tora Tora Tora, but it's not as good as. I hate the Pearl Harbor movie. The Pearl Harbor film is terrible. But once the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor, that's the only part of that movie, unfortunately, that's any good. And that's it. This movie kind of does it. This is more of a character study, I think. That's part of what I think Preminger was really going for. I mean, there's a love story in here, I know. If whoever's online with me, hello, ask me a question. I know you're there because I can see the one. That tells me somebody's there. It's a John Wayne film, people. It's Kirk Douglas. What more do you want? It's historical. It's a good movie. It's one of those films that's more about the symbolism of the Navy and the war and the people who fought it. And the three characters I mentioned did exist. Four characters. The Admiral of Pearl Harbor did exist. He was a real person. Captain Burke was a real person. Certainly Nimitz was a real person. And the person that Burgess Meredith plays. Now there's two people. Hello. I am going to do another one on John. I love John. I like John Wayne movies. You know what my favorite John Wayne movie is? It's not a war movie. And if you can guess what movie that is, I would be impressed. Because it ain't a war film. The Emerald Isle. I need to get a clue. Anyway, but this book is excellent. This is more on the island campaign, the Solomon Island campaign. What this movie does. Anyway, it's a good character study. It's a very good character study of the Navy. It doesn't go into too many details because I think Otto Preminger was trying to not be too hard on the Navy or the U.S. military, or basically those who literally should have known it was coming. See, the problem is, my theory is very simple. I don't think we believed it was going to be Pearl Harbor. We knew the attack was coming. I think we honestly thought it would be the Philippines. Makes more sense. Who's ever going to believe that they're going to figure out a way to attack Pearl Harbor way out here? Well, they did. But John Wayne is always good. Henry Fonda's not in this film very much. He's of course playing Nimitz, as I said. Patricia Neal plays a nurse. It's the love interest. Otto Preminger can't help himself. There's got to be a love interest somewhere. And there are several love interests, by the way. And one doesn't turn out very well, and I'm not going to say any more than that. This film doesn't have an overly happy ending. It does, but it doesn't. Let's figure out which character I'm talking about. Let's see. Who am I missing? That's what I wanted to talk about. Paul Prentice. I love Paul Prentice. He was beautiful. It's one of the Richard Benson married her and then stayed married to her. They're still married. They were married at this point by the time he made this film. Let's see. George Kennedy. I like George Kennedy. But this film really doesn't come across as being a colonel in the United States Marine Corps. Well, then again, he's not, what am I thinking of? Fuller, Chesty Fuller. He's not Chesty Fuller. He's more like Arthur Fuller, his long-lost cousin, 1,000 times removed. George Kennedy's a good actor. How many actors in this film, or actresses in this film, won the Academy Award or were nominated? John Wayne, Henry Fonda, George Kennedy, Patricia Neal. You know that pretty sure that versus Meredith was nominated, I believe, Best Supporting Actor for Rocky. I don't know what Carol O'Connor was ever nominated for anything. By the way, Kirk Douglas should have won for Lust for Life. If any film, he should have won an Academy Award for. It's that film. But anyway, good movie. Not a great movie. Not a classic epic in, filming a great film. What a good war movie. With December 7th coming up. Tora. I ordered that film, and if it gets here on time, I'm going to do a video on it. Because that's a good movie. So I miss anything I want to repeat. Good action. The battle scenes with the ships are wonderful. The land battle scenes, you leave that to the imagination because you don't see it. Sorry. The father-son conflict, it works. I mean, it does work. Love story, I don't like love stories in my movies. I just, Otto Preminger, though, manages to make it not too sappy and not too over the top. Unlike the movie Midway with Charlton Heston, and that was just bad. I'm not going to do Pearl Harbor. I'm never going to do it. I might do a review on Pearl Harbor so I could just say how bad it was and how absolutely boring it was. And the only good thing in that entire film was the attack. It's the only thing that was done right for the most part. But anyway. Henry Fonda. What more do you want? Harold Hunter. Yeah. Is interwoven into this account of the attack itself, kind of, as well as the tragic tragedies of disobeyed orders, the American counteroffensive, father-son reunions, battles at sea, layers of romantic entanglements. That's one way to put it, I guess. It's a story that's been told and retold, but perhaps never so completely. I won't go that far. That's a good story, though. Anyway, whoever those two people are who are still on watching me, thank you. Now subscribe, please. I said please. Don't make you watch Pearl Harbor. Hey, I know, it's cruel and unusual punishment. If you don't subscribe, I'm going to make you watch Pearl Harbor 3 times. But anyway, it's a very cold day here in Minnesota. Like cold to the teens. Okay. Thank you, people, for watching. All 2 of you. Or 2 people there, I can see you. Well, I can see the number anyway. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Behave yourselves, people, but I'm not going to. See you later.